Doom scrolling on social media is literally the bane of my existence. I make it my New Year's resolution every year to try and decrease the time I spend on social media apps, and I literally fail every single year. Last night, I wanted to come up with a fun writing challenge because I'm in the midst of editing my thriller novel, and I thought I could do something fun to spice up the process now that things are starting to stagnate a bit. So naturally, I decided to do the least fun thing and see if I could spend 2 weeks without using social media so I could focus on my writing. So, this is day 1 of 14 that I'm going to try to not use social media. I'm not being like super strict with it. I know that screen time and being on your phone and being on your computer is part of living in the modern age. And I do a lot of my work on my computer with emails and stuff. Goal is just basically don't go on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube for 2 weeks. And I picked 2 weeks because just a day or a couple days is not really very much. Like, I go on camping trips or cabin trips where I don't have service for a few days, so it doesn't really feel like I'm doing much with that. And 2 weeks I think is long enough that if I do have any, I don't know if I'm gonna have like withdrawal, but if it will really force me to enter a new routine that doesn't include being so reliant on my phone. So today was not very hard. When I woke up, it did feel a little weird not just go on my phone and start, scrolling for half an hour. And now I'm like, oh, no, that's not an option. So I've been doing a lot of reading today, which has been really nice because I love reading, but I feel like in recent years I haven't really read as many books as I have in the past. So like maybe a book a month, sometimes more, sometimes less. But I also picked this time because I'm headed to a science conference tomorrow, so I will be busy enough for like the next 3 or 4 days that I feel like that'll also help with just not feeling as tied to social media. Maybe that'll help with like an easier way out of it. And I'm hoping to still do writing while I'm doing all of this. I already do a lot of work on my writing, like day to day, even when I was using a lot of social media. So the point isn't to try and free up more time to write. The point is to spend more time living in my life in the day and trying to improve the quality of time that I spend on my computer. So feeling more present in the things that I do in my day to day. When I actually sit down to write, my mind is more at peace, and that will then help me in editing my story better, basically. Hello, it is day 9 and I haven't given you an update since day 1. That's because I had my 4-day conference and then I went straight into being sick for the weekend, which has been really exhausting. Throughout all that time, I haven't actually really been writing either. I did do some writing yesterday on Sunday. I did about half of a chapter and I'm trying to get the motivation to do a bit more today. I just got up from a nap. But the struggle is here. I debated nixing this challenge or even trying to restart or extend it somehow. But I have been sticking to the no social media thing, and I didn't really want to restart and add another 9 days to no social media. It was really funny though. I think it was the second or third day to the conference I was at. There's a lot of like waiting time in these conferences, between talks or whatever. And I opened up Facebook on my phone and opened it and started scrolling, liked a few photos before I even realized what I was doing. And I caught myself, and that's the only time I've done that. But it was just almost like second nature, and it was kind of wild to experience how like hardwired my brain had become. So I think, we're just gonna be honest. This is, my process of revision where I'm going to keep sticking to my no more social media for whatever, another 5 days, I think. But I would like to say, I don't know if it's because I've been doing so much reading or if it's just no social media, but when I was doing my revision yesterday, it felt different. It could also be because I took this huge break. It's not a very clear experiment that I'm conducting here, but I found that I was really taking my time trying to figure out what was happening on a like line by line level of just like the thought process intermingled with the descriptions, intermingled with all the events going on. And so I felt like I was going a lot slower, and for that I was maybe trying to rush a bit through a bit faster. So that was really interesting. So I'm really hoping, at this point, I don't even need to do a lot of progress. I just want to try and get into the routine of writing every day again, even though just the idea of it sounds mentally exhausting. Honestly, all I want to do is read someone else's writing that I don't have to edit and just like fall into someone else's story. But as soon as I start editing my story, I always get so excited and I enjoy it immensely. It's really just about opening the document and getting started.
Hello, it is day 11, so it's been 3 days since we've last spoken. And I've been doing a little bit of writing every single day, which is feeling good to get back into the groove of it. But it has also been feeling kind of bad because I'm still on chapter 15, and it still doesn't feel good even after all this time I've put into it. I thought it might be because of just like feeling sick and my brain just not being with it right now. But I did a full read through of the chapter this morning, and there's just something wrong with it. Basically, it's right before the competition starts. It's everyone setting up, getting ready to go. And I think I just get too distracted with small little things when it just really needs to be focused on the start of the competition. It needs to be focused on the main character, thinking about the start, all the emotions that come with it, and there's this one other thing I need to set up. And all these other side little conversations and stuff that happen don't need to be there. But I don't want to just go right back into the Word doc and do what I have been doing the last few days. So I decided to take out my notebook and I'm going to go and write out a really brief outline. I really don't expect to take anything more than like 10 or 15 minutes, so that way I can have it with me when I go back into the Word doc, and it'll hopefully help me focus up a bit better on what I want to do with my revision. It took 12 days for me to finally get to the point that I've been trying to get this whole time. I think I was having a lot of trouble too when I was first starting about exactly what I was trying to get to. I feel like there's a lot of times where when I'm writing, I lack that flow state. I struggle to get there because a lot of times I'll get a little bit tired. I'll be like, oh, I'll just take a quick break and I'll go on social media and I'll waste time and I'll kind of get out of that zone. And so I was hoping that by removing social media as an option for myself, it would really help me focus in on my writing because I wouldn't have this distraction. And even at first, when I was trying to remove social media, there were still other things that were starting to intrude. Like, I couldn't help myself but want to try and read all these stories I read. Onyx Storm came out, a couple weeks ago, and everyone in the entire world read it, and so did I. And I also wanted to reread all the books leading up to that. And then I got into just like the reading mood, and I read so many books in like the last 12 days. And now I've started to feel a little bit tired of reading all those books. So I've slowly but surely removed all these distractions for myself, where now when I have this moment of, oh, should I take a break? There's nothing for me to go to. So it's really allowed me to just say, nope, I'm just going to keep working on it. Why not? The outlining I did last night really helped. I was able to go back into the story, finish chapter 15, and now I'm about halfway through chapter 16, and this one's feeling a lot better. There's not as many moving parts in this. It's much more straightforward in what's happening, and I'm feeling really good. I don't know if this social media experiment is what's helped me get into the zone last night and today, or if it's just I've taken so much time away that naturally I'm in another cycle of productivity. I'm excited. I just have some lunch going, and then I'm going to just keep working on it for as long as I feel like it. Hello, it is day 13, so I have 2 more days, counting today, left in this experiment. Honestly, I can't wait for it to be over. I've really been missing going on social media, and I just can't help but think, why did I even do this? Like, I don't even know if the social media thing is helping. In any case, yesterday was a really good writing day. I ended up finishing that one chapter I was on, chapter 16, and then I went on to chapter 17, and it was pretty short, and I was actually able to finish that as well. I haven't done any writing for the day so far. I've just been doing some grad school stuff, so I made myself a cup of hot water with some honey, and I think I'm just going to start now and see where I get to. I'm just feeling really tired, and all I want to do is go on social media today, so we'll see how productive I get. I'm getting some energy back as well. I think my cold is finally nearing its end point, but at the same time, I don't want to go outside and do anything because I don't want to set myself back, because these things can drag out if I don't take care of myself. So I have my laptop out. Koala's back there sleeping. Today has been a day. I'm sure you're as excited as I am that I am in new clothes. I don't want to even think about how many days it's been now since I was wearing that same gross hoodie. The writing really flowed today. I was able to really get into like the zone, and I finished chapter 18 and I've just started chapter 19, and by if I just started I mean I've done maybe like 50 words of chapter 19. I even think about doing a bit more before I go to bed. With all the other thrillers that I've written before this, when I go into the revision stage, I always have to create some sort of tracker for myself to get through the different chapters. But I feel like this has been so different because I almost like don't even pay attention to the chapter numbers. I literally had to look it up right before starting this clip to remember what chapter I was even on. I've still felt really strong about my story, been feeling motivated to keep going. I think honestly it might have to do with making these videos and kind of keeping myself accountable because I'm documenting my process, and if I'm not working on my story, what am I gonna, put as a video for that week? And I don't know if it's because I'm going a little cabin crazy this week as well, since I haven't really been outside of this, very small cabin for so many days. But I felt like the more I've gotten into this, especially yesterday and today, the more it feels like the story's kind of living with me, even when I'm not working on it. Like I'll just be thinking about it in my subconscious, like all the time, and excited to get back to it. Whether or not I actually get back to it, because there is still that hesitation of just like opening the document that seems really hard. But the idea of sitting down and working on it fills me with excitement. And so I'm not planning on starting a tracker. Who knows if as things get rougher, especially in the last third, I think that's when I really start to underwrite in the first draft. I might turn to tracking chapters and my progress, but for now I'm just trying to enjoy it. Here we are on day 14. I wish I had a nice concluding message from this experiment, a takeaway, if you will, but personally, I think it was a good challenge to try and prevent just the dependency I had on social media. And even though I'm going to go back to it, I'm hoping that this experience will prevent me from going on it as much as I have been. I got some more writing done today. I finished that chapter I was on, and I've just started the next one. It's getting a little tougher because I did realize right now that I had this opportunity to escalate the stakes of the story, and originally in the first draft I kind of shied away from it, so now I'm trying to double down on that aspect. So there's been a decent amount of rewriting and deleting, but it's all for the betterment of the story. And at the end of the day, too, with this experiment, it's like whether or not it was a clear success, it did make me write, at least in the last handful of days. I've gotten, I think, 4 chapters done, so any progress is good. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.